On Sunday, 15th of March, the launch of the pandemic unemployment payment, information needed to be published online on gov.ie in time for an announcement on the news at 9 p.m. The entire team worked to develop an application process for a brand new payment in a matter of hours. We designed a one-page application form easy to complete for customers, published information on gov.ie in plain English. Forms could be returned to the department by free post. We didn't want anyone queuing for a stamp in a pandemic. Created a new mailbox to receive and respond to requests for forms where a customer did not have the facility to print a form at home. The objective was to keep intro centres from being overcrowded, ensuring the safety of customers and staff while delivering critical income support. It was essential that people could apply quickly and that we could get them into payment quickly. For the first 48 hours after launch, a pandemic unemployment payment form was downloaded from gov.ie every 10 seconds. Thousands of email requests were responded to in the first week. The flexibility of the team, designers became form dispatchers. In the meantime, our digital services team worked in the background to develop an online service, and just 4 days later, on the 19th of March, people could apply online at mywelfare.ie. We had to reimagine the customer journey and experience during a pandemic, and customer needs were considered at every stage in developing these processes. We ensured consistent communication across all our channels to reassure customers during this time. The efforts of the digital and paper application processes combined meant that 2 weeks later, in early April, over 500,000 people were receiving the pandemic unemployment payment.
During the pandemic, two key information needs emerged: immediate crisis-focused information and accurate, trustworthy information. With many face-to-face services closed to the public or not operating at full capacity, including our own network of citizens' information centres, we recognised that social media was a key channel for getting fast responses out, directing people to our services and answering their questions. So we established a dedicated social media team and increased our output on both Twitter and Facebook to share simple updates in real time, respond to queries, and create a series of short videos on subjects such as face coverings. We also signposted to more detailed information on our website, citizensinformation.ie, as well as our phone and callback service. We aim to counter misinformation by informing the public of their rights and entitlements at this unprecedented time. Our work was recognised by Twitter and Facebook, who included updates from the Citizens Information as part of their COVID-19 dedicated information hubs. Our response has resulted in a dramatic increase in followers and engagement on social media, especially on Facebook, where we've gone from reaching a few thousand people a month to reaching over 3.5 million people a month. Facebook and Twitter also now account for 3.2% of all website traffic to citizensinformation.ie, which is up from 1% pre-pandemic. We're proud to be a trusted source of information, and we will continue to promote access to reliable information on social media.
Now, we developed this in conjunction with a customer action plan, and because we wanted to create a framework so that we could provide a set of very well managed channels so the citizens and businesses of Dublin could access our services in whatever way they chose. Like other local authorities, we provide over 600 services and across a range of access points, from our headquarters in civic offices to area offices, sports centres, libraries, parks, and citizens access those services through a range of channels, from face-to-face, telephony, email, digital and social media. So the key objective is to obviously increase the range of services we provide online, but we also set objectives under each channel so that we're improving our service to citizens all the time. So to date, we've procured a new customer portal and CRM platform, which will help us increase our range of online services. We've streamlined our generic email addresses so that we can, again, make it simpler for customers to access the right person, and we hope to turn them into online forms. We've upgraded our telephony system and changed the menus, again, so that people will get to talk to the right person as quickly as possible. And we have a social media strategy, and on the face-to-face, we've reduced the number of counters in the civic offices from 30 to 8. And again, we hope to get to 2 hubs in the new year. Again, it's been very useful to actually set objectives using this strategy because it's very clear what we're trying to achieve. And it also frames the conversation, I suppose, around customer experience in terms of accessing our services. Thank you.
During the COVID-19 lockdown, revenue came across a significant pressure point for vulnerable citizens seeking housing support. Revenue drove innovation across local government to fix that pressure point, bringing together the stakeholders to convert the paper HBL1 process into an electronic systemized version, where local authorities submit lists online on behalf of the citizen. This created one point of contact for vulnerable citizens seeking housing support, while also saving the public service some 37,000 contacts per year.
At a time of uncertainty, with many people restricting movement to their homes, MABS felt a responsibility to support people take informed action. Enabling the capacity of MABS to respond to customers' questions, comments, and queries privately on Facebook was a new development for 2020, largely driven by the COVID-19 pandemic. The responses are managed by a panel of MABS money advisors on a rota basis. Messages and comments are funneled into one dashboard for the advisors on duty to pick up and answer. The advisors are based in MABS offices across the country, so this initiative not only demonstrates responding to customer need, but also working collaboratively by being based remotely. MABS has engaged with over 1,400 customers since the launch of the Messenger app in April. It is proving popular and a helpful way to reach a new audience.
When the first closures were announced in March because of COVID-19, the number of calls from businesses seeking advice and support increased immediately to this department. Neither our switchboard nor the relevant business units were in a position to deal with the volume of and complex nature of the calls which we were receiving. It was clear that an innovative approach would be required to meet the department's objective of getting as much information out to businesses as possible. In terms of our approach to this challenge, within one day, a dedicated COVID-19 business support call centre was established to provide information on the various new and existing business supports available. A new team drawn from across the department was also temporarily assigned, and those staff were selected on the basis of their knowledge of the business supports that the department and our agencies provide and their customer service skills. A dedicated helpline, phone number and email address was also established. These details were advertised on our department's website and social media accounts, as well as other government departments and agencies' accounts. Since the 27th of March, the team has operated remotely. In terms of how we went around solving our challenges, our internal stakeholders with policy responsibility for business supports and our communications unit were consulted to input to a script that could be used on the call centre. This script was a living document, and as the number of calls increased and the complexity of the calls increased, it increased from a 2-page document to a 12-page document. The team handles queries on our department supports and other departments and agency supports. If we're unable to address the query fully, we identify and refer the callers to the appropriate department or agency that can help them. To date, over 11,000 inquiries from businesses have been handled by the call centre. This allowed business units within the department time and focus to develop on new policy responses to the crisis by providing new and amended business supports. The results of the call centre being established is that feedback from the business community has been very positive. A significant proportion of the callers are sole traders and high street traded businesses who ordinarily have little interaction with the public sector. Many callers had limited or no awareness of the schemes that were available to assist them during the crisis, and the call centre proved to be their first port of call. Given the importance of the call centre to the business community during the COVID-19 emergency, senior management of the department have decided to continue and expand the call centre function and for it to be grown into a business information service addressing all business supports in a post-COVID environment, including Brexit supports and general business supports, and decided to rename it the Enterprise Information Centre.
When the COVID-19 pandemic hit, the hospital was posed with a challenge. Visiting restrictions were put in place in March of this year in an effort to reduce the footfall into the hospital. PALS had to look at innovative ways to bridge this gap, and at the same time ensure the safety of our patients and of our staff. Our approach to this challenge in PALS was to look at innovative ways to bridge the gap. TUH introduced the Patient Care Package service in March of this year. Initially, this service was run by redeployed staff from the Centre for Learning and Development and HSSD staff. As business in the hospital increased and the staff were required to return to their day jobs, we had to reinvent the Patient Care Package service. This service is now run by a combination of volunteers from the community, walkway interns who are persons with an intellectual disability preparing for employment, and Tallaght University Hospital staff. Oversight of the service is provided by the PALS department. There is a central drop-off point for relatives to leave packages for patients. It's advertised through social media as well as posters and flyers throughout the hospital, and it's also advertised on our website. I'm going to hand you over to my colleague Danielle Anderson, who's the Deputy Manager for the PALS service, and Danielle will outline the results of these initiatives.
In tandem with the Patient Care Package service, we developed Sending Love at tuh.ie. This is an email address that the patients' families can send messages to their loved ones who are in hospital. This includes emails, photos, cards, and a commitment from the Patient Care Package service to deliver them to the patient. The approach to developing Sending Love was to enhance the patient experience and to add a more personal touch, as they could not have face-to-face contact with their loved ones. As of late October 2020, Tallaght University Hospital has processed over 11,000 packages to patients on the wards through the Patient Care Package service. Through Sending Love, over 290 letters have been delivered to TUH patients. This service delivers pictures of loved ones, messages of encouragement and support, birthday cards, photos of scenery, and much more. Sending Love runs from Monday to Friday, with emails printed and delivered within a short time frame. Both services have provided a very positive experience to TUH patients during a particularly challenging time for those and their families.